you're creating basically a graph structure with this table. And this could be over here, this could be like D, right? And so would you then have that going on?
Yep.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it can be very complicated. So I guess in this case, so at the top of the graph, we run all of these guys in parallel. So this will maybe get set to thread 1, 2, 3, and 4, respectively. This one would then also get queued up for 2. These will both get queued up for 1, and then this will go to 3, etc. But then when we get to this guy, he can't be scheduled yet because this one is on thread 1 and this is on thread 2.
How do the different threads know about it, what the others are doing?
That's just tracked in the scheduler.
Okay,
the scheduler has a view of which threads have which locks.
Okay.
And then when we pop these off the top of the graph, we say which threads can we schedule these transactions to based on like our current view of the locks. And then we'll select some thread and try to do some load balancing there as well.
Okay, so this basically is just like a moving window. And you're creating this basically on the fly. So you keep moving the window down based off of daily priority.
So the way that we're doing it is we respect priority for in the buffer already.
Okay.
It doesn't like you can still like receive early on, start scheduling and receive a high priority packet. It's not going to like take over this and like get inserted to the top. It would get inserted at like the next iterate.
Oh, the next like window. Like if we got something with D or something which is much higher priority than this transaction, would then that move this over and insert that transaction there? How does that work?
It's already like been scheduled. It's not going to take priority right now.
Okay.
We could potentially do that. It's difficult to. I have thought of this, but like you could make these communication channels have like priority ordering. But that really works if we have like transaction by transaction. We don't send transaction by transaction here. We send batches of transactions. Right now it's just like a detailed order we'll work through in order.
Okay. So like some of this is already past like the priority scheduling. So we know roughly how they should be scheduled based on that window, and then we figure out the graph after that, right? So like remember we're creating this what do you call it? Priority graph. Priority graph. Whenever you create this priority graph.
Right now we're in the 10.118. The scheduler will like do receiving of this in the graph, like
scheduling side, I think. Hello everyone, my name is Jacob Breach. I lead Developer Relations, and I'm joined today by Greg, who is a core engineer at Solana Labs.
And each one of these is a full text map. So what we're going to do is we're going to iterate. So we're going to look at. So say we are, I guess let's assume there's another node here.
I'm Joe, coming to you live from Mountain Dow, from Solana Dev Relations. I'm here with a couple folks from Mountain Dow. Go ahead and introduce yourself, guys. Nick,
How's it going? My name's Lucas Marino. I'm also a production process.
Hey everyone, I'm Grant. I got real internet Solana this summer.
Hello everyone, GM. I'm Tim from the Solana Foundation DevRel team, and today I'm joined with Yi from Latitude.sh. He's the CEO and founder of there, as well as Tim from also from Solana Foundation. Tim is the validator community lead.
Both on a physical side, block security, and also on a virtual remote access security. How do you ensure the security of boxes?
we as a service provider, a bare metal provider, we set up our servers inside cages, inside tier 3 data centers. So they are fully monitored 24/7. So we can we make sure nobody has physical access to the equipment. Second,
I grew up in a remote place in India, and this is what my hometown looks like. We did not have access to 24-hour electricity, a computer, or the internet. From there, I went on to study in one of the top schools in India, working at Amazon and Google. And now, I have a moderately successful social media career as well. I understand that these achievements might not seem like much to many people, but considering where I come from, the probability of being in my position today is almost non-existent. In the process of doing all this, I have uncovered some frameworks that I believe can help anyone become successful, and I'm going to share these frameworks with you today. So I just want you to sit down and listen for 5 minutes to all this knowledge I'm about to give you for free. Have you ever noticed that some people just seem to win at everything they do? Whether it's their career, personal life, or just a simple game, they always come out on top. It's like they have some secret formula for success that rest of us just can't crack. Well, I have been studying these winners for a while now, and I think I have finally figured out what makes them so successful. In the book The Winner's Mindset, Shane Watson dives deep into the neurochemistry of success. He explains that when we win, our brain releases a powerful surge of dopamine. Dopamine is the feel-good neurotransmitter associated with pleasure, reward, and motivation. This dopamine hit tells our brain that whatever we just did was good. We should do more of it. Over time, this creates a positive feedback loop. The more we win, the more dopamine we get, and the more motivated we become to keep winning. But here's the thing, dopamine is released not just when we actually win, but also when we anticipate a win. So the winners are constantly seeking out new challenges and opportunities because they know that the dopamine rush is just around the corner. That's why some people seem to have an insatiable drive, and this drive helps them win over and over again. The key learning here is that wins compound over time. So in the beginning, all you need to do is look for a small win, and this win will lead to a bigger one, another bigger one, and so on. And before you know it, you will be winning at everything you do. But how do you get your first win? That's where the mental frameworks come in. First framework I want to talk about is winner's matrix. Here is what winner's matrix looks like. On one axis, we have our own happiness and sadness. On the other axis, we have the happiness and sadness of others. If you're someone who consumes a lot of social media, constantly compares yourself to others and feels bad about your life, you're spending a lot of time in this quadrant because others' happiness makes you sad. Also, if you're someone who enjoys saying bad things about people who are more successful than you, or loves it when media criticizes someone influential, you're spending a lot of time in this quadrant because others' misery gives you happiness. And I want you to always remember this. Winners do not waste their time in any of these quadrants. Winners celebrate other people's success and empathize with their struggles, but they don't let it define them. They focus on their own journey and don't get caught up with what everyone else is doing. Second thing that most winners understand is this: what you work on is much more important than how hard you work. I spent 6 years getting 2 degrees and ended up jobless. I spent 6 months learning programming and got my first job. The point I'm trying to make is this: you might be putting in 80-hour weeks, but if you're working on wrong things, it's not going to get you anywhere. The key is to focus on tasks that give you biggest return on your time investment. But how do you decide what to work on? One way to do it would be to focus on making asymmetric bets. You're making an asymmetric bet when you work on things where the potential upside is much larger than the downside. For example, investing in stock market is not an asymmetric bet for most people. That's because even though you can make a lot of money, there's significant probability of you losing everything. On the other hand, when you invest your time in learning new technologies, you can end up becoming a software engineer, but your only investment is your time. Heads you win, tails you don't lose much. When looking at the upside, I want you to know that there are two kinds of upsides that are very common, and it's very important to be able to clearly differentiate between them. First one is the linear upside. Most people are working on things that have linear upside. In the linear upside, your return is linearly proportional to the amount of time or effort you spend on the task. For example, doing a 9 to 5 job and trying to climb the corporate ladder is a linear upside. In the corporate world, your returns are directly proportional to amount of time you put in. On the other hand, we have exponential upside. This is where there is potential for massive growth in a short time. For example, trying to become a movie star, singer, or a sports person. All of these have exponential upside. It's very rare to find an asymmetric bet that has exponential upside. These are the kind of bets that predictably create a lot of wealth. So if you manage to find one, you will end up creating a lot of value for yourself and others. All this theory is great. Let me show you an example where I use this framework in my life. In 2022, I was already working as a software engineer. This means that I already had my linear bet in place. I was deciding whether I should start a YouTube channel. The potential upside was huge. I could reach millions of people in a short time, which meant that the bet was exponential. But the downside was pretty low. Worst case, I would have a few videos that no one watched, and my friends would laugh at me. So it was worth taking the risk. If there is one superpower I wish I had, it's the ability to know what the other person wants. If you're in a job interview and you know what the interviewer wants, you would be able to crack it. If you're a YouTuber and you know what the audience wants to see, you will be a successful YouTuber. And if you're a politician and you know what people want to hear, you will be in position of power someday. The ability to see things from another person's perspective is the most underrated skill. And that's where the next framework comes in. And that's to always think win-win. The idea comes from the book The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. In any interaction, you should be looking for ways to benefit both parties. It's not about coming out on top. It's about finding a solution that works for everyone. Charlie Munger once said, all of man's problems come from his
inability to sit in a room alone and wait. The next principle is patience. We live in a world of instant gratification where we expect success to come easily and quickly. But the truth is, most overnight successes are years in the making. Take NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang, for example. Jensen co-founded NVIDIA in 1993, and for years, company focused on developing GPUs for gaming industry. But Jensen had a vision that extended far beyond gaming. He believed that GPUs could be used for complex computational tasks like AI and machine learning. For years, Jensen and his team worked tirelessly to develop and refine their technology. It was not until mid-2010s that NVIDIA's efforts began to pay off in a big way. As the demand for AI and machine learning grew, NVIDIA's GPUs became the go-to hardware for developers and researchers. Company's stock price jumped, and Jensen became a deca-billionaire almost overnight. The key lesson here is this: everyone wants to be part of the outcome. Nobody wants to be part of the process. The last framework I have for you is very counterintuitive, so bear with me for a moment. There are three types of people in the world: givers, takers, and the matchers. Takers are always looking for ways to benefit themselves, even at the expense of others. Matchers are willing to give, but only if they get something in return. But givers are the ones who truly succeed in the long run. But how is that possible? Because when you give freely and generously, you build trust and goodwill with others. People are more likely to work with you, support you, and help you succeed. And when you donate something in return, they'll be more than happy to provide it. But giving is not just about material things. It's also about giving your time, your expertise, and your support. It's about being there for others when they need you and helping them achieve their goals. And the more you give, the more you receive in return. That's it for today. My name is Sahil, and I'll see you in the next one.